Murray.
This is Awaken Your Soul in Merlin Woods in Galway City. Good little poets here, so it's going to be really good. So hope you join in and watch. This poem is called Clear Mind. A translucent water spirit flew through my window in Longford. By the Royal Canal, it offered help, but I did not know or understand. It floated beautifully across the room and through the door, invisible to everything but me. I felt calm and at peace when I seen it as I heard the water flow. Thank you. This next poem is called Crossguard. Crosses are on the outside of prisons to keep the evil in. The darkness lay beneath us. We realize what we are when the light is off. Thank you. This next poem is called Indecisions. In between heat and love come sweat and bruises and kissing excuses. I, for one, do not believe in delusions. From far between, we awake and look to the other side of the bed and see a pig. Thank you. This poem is called I Had It. Innocence is sex and truth to what we feel we had. If the will is great, we will protect our love. We are peace. We are utter silence. Thank you. This next poem is called I Hope to Dream More. At night, ducks flew through the sky and quacked. I slept by the Royal Canal in Prospect Woods. I walked barefoot through the grass. No one saw my naked feet. I hope no one saw the orgy between grass and toes. Thank you. This next poem is called Want. 3 men stand there, naked. 3 women lay there in anticipation, waiting, wanting, her hair flowing like a rug. The men leave. Thank you. This next poem is called The Road Home. Night falls and bats fly. Let us all belong to the darkness. Earnest and young, we walk down the dark road at night with no light. We hear the bats fly past us and the bushes at each side rustle, wondering what will jump out. I clench my fist and walk on. With eyes closed, I sing out, loud, scaring whatever it is away. Thank you. This next poem is called Trans-Illusioned Illusionist. Pull back the seat. of no wonder. I wander around like ghosts. I cannot see spirits. Jesus. I would love to be an air hostess. Limited, attractive, uniform, but restricted. Fasten your seatbelts, emotion. Thank you. This next poem is called Anima and Animist. Her skin, flux, ratio, her nails long and sharp, to scratch. I can hear music. The hairs on her arm spark upwards, and her nails get longer. The feminist parasite. Thank you. This next poem is called Cross God. People do not change by the sign of the cross. They resist it now. They beg to it. Forgive me. Penance. Let me go to do it again, and I will not. For I will ask you again for. Thank you. And for our next poet, Holly Richardson.
Hi guys, as Kevin said, I'm Polly. I'm from Dublin, but I live in Navan. So I'm going to just share a couple of aptly picked poems about trees and nature. And my first one, which I've now just lost, just trees. Paper butterflies fluttered freely across the surface of her mind. The other one cocooned still. Swollen, stubborn pride stifled muted apologies. Words failed to tumble out, rattling around the crevice between tongue and cheek, getting lost in translation along the way. She played with ideas of how should, and perhaps laughed wildly at the imperfection of it all, as she fingered herself, pausing over the spot, the place of no return, puddles formed. She went dancing in the rain. The trees looked on. This one's called Beneath the Oak. Patience tested within shadows of oak trees. Staggered branches shades life's newborn. As they suckle, eyes drink in, never full. Kissed by warming breeze and mothery lips. Curling fingers uncurl clasp the dog-eared pages imprinted by turning hands past. Open sponging minds soaked in murmuring woods, deliciously licked and savoured. And the honeybee. The honeybee in monotone hum, tracks east, testing left to bloom perfect bloom, bearing essence of life to last breath. In shadows of oak trees, dreaming of devouring sun. And my next one is, find it, Links and Beyond. But this one I'm going to just explain a little bit about. If anyone knows of Tara, the hill of Tara, that's somewhere I frequent a lot. I don't live too far away from there. So this one I wrote in a couple of visits on the passing of my lovely little Cavalier King Charles. So it's my memories of my walks with her and the kids. It's called Links and Beyond. Numb fingers feel turn me. I'm sniffed by wet velvet pooling drool. Yaps soon hush. Her head cocked sideways towards Leofall. Furry softness engulfs, heats my links. Excitement pulsates within her goofy wrinkled smiles, and I wait to check. Loosely, I clink. Absorb her lavish tongue flaps, lolling, tasting fermented air, devouring yesterday's hiking banquets, misting in morning dew. She sniffs fowl and fairy trees, waving off amber leaves, snaps them as they fall. Paws shuffle damp royal earth imprinting Tara's hill. She barns to stenches and east winds, and I quiver. Bleating woollies scatter, I'm yanked. This bitch can pull beyond these links. Grudgingly she sits, stills, plonks a set. Cautious tail sputter wags. Propelling vibrations through me. Pleading eyes mutter inward whines, and I release, link by link. She snorts and waggle, as dribble sub child nuzzles sticky babble-filled kisses, grasping links, giggling. Little hand buried deep in tannin white hair and licking, and I slip loose, ready to link beyond myself. My last one, this is called Scorched. Polishing intensely, trying to remove those damn scorch rings from aging wood. Sweat trickled as she rubbed, running between overused breast and parched navel, kissed by tones of Jacques Brel and longing. Occasionally allowing her mind to drift with an east wind, skies and swinging swing, creaking against gnarled tree, evading to Indira spring. Luring whispers of waving winter spring grasses, pale green, summoned and carried her as if mothering. She stood vacant, not feeling stones tearing her soles, and dangling feet amongst mimicking swinging ropes, back and forth. Scorching rings on wood, she necked swirling winds, and robins sang back and forth, crooned and crying for nestlings, and the birds ate their fill. Thank you.
And Kenneth Nolan next.
Hey everybody, glad to be here. Thanks to Kevin for inviting me. This is a piece called Priest. A barren landscape, every square inch infertile and dead to the future. Still, this ground had men toiling on it, followers, battered men, meek men, beaten dockets scattering in the wind. A howling bitter wind which nobody could sense or feel, for they were all trapped in the red heat. I've had many dreams about this place, a place I have never been, a place I don't know the name of, nor am I familiar with any soul who dwells there. This place first appeared to me in a flash of burning red. Even to imagine it now causes my temperature to rise and my brow to perspire. I took many visits to this place. Often I tried to speak to the workmen. They would not answer any of my questions, though on my most recent visit I spoke to one man, a young priest. The priest was very much in charge, though he behaved like he was just passing through, like the honorary guest at an important banquet. He ate all different kinds of foods at breakneck speed at every moment that he was in front of my eyes. He was not overweight, but it seemed like he should be. He commanded the people around him to do things at every opportunity, as if to avoid seeing them stand still. He spoke to them with the diction and politeness of an educated gentleman, but I could see the contempt drip from his eyes. These serfs could not help but obey him. I found it curious to watch as they shuffled and weened to his caroled commands. He spoke directly to me, and I was immediately stung by his tone. He said, "I'm a busy man, my friend, so I will require you to state your business and be on your way." "What is this place? What is it called? Where are we? Who are all these people?" "You don't know?" "I don't know. I was brought here. I mean, I'm dreaming, aren't I?" He paused. A smile rolled down from his eyes to his mouth, the tip of his tongue on view for a moment. I could see that he was reveling in my confused, disorientated state. After an eternity, he replied, "Are you dreaming?" At this point I was 100% sure that I was asleep and dreaming, but felt that it was akin to signing my own death warrant to admit as much. I was having the most vivid dream that I could ever recall experiencing. However, my curiosity had gone, and I wanted to wake up immediately. I was trapped in my own head, in my own bed. I felt very annoyed with the fact that I couldn't wake myself up, and furious with the man who I felt was now keeping me prisoner. Why couldn't I just wake up? Sir, if you want to live, just live. My time is precious. He said this in a golden way, surfing on his power, seeking the most appropriate kill moment. He then looked at the floor near my feet and began to chuckle. At this moment, a young woman started to flap at my legs with a cloth. Please, please, she said. I clean, no problem. I looked down. I was naked. Naked in every sense of the word. I was drenched from my waist to my feet. The liquid was circling around me, forming a puddle-like trap that was rising up at a ferocious speed toward my face. I looked at him. He was laughing. I was overcome with dread. I dropped all pretense of stoicism and male machismo and began to plead, cry, choke for my freedom. Let me go, I begged him. Not yet, he replied. You must pay 1 month's rent in advance, as well as the equivalent amount up front by way of deposit. Thank you. I was looking for stuff that was relevant to nature. I haven't got much. I have one. Kevin was saying when we were speaking about this gig, about this area, how in Galway it's renowned for a suicide spot. Am I right? Yeah. So, that image of those souls becoming butterflies. I've been in the depths of despair myself at times. This is a poem I wrote a few years ago when I was close to the bottom. It's called Follow the Butterfly, Escape from Darkness. Through several different shades of gloom, each shade glowing in darkness, an ever more desirable doom, never more shall I be careless. Quiet normality I'm desperate to display, my memory obliterated, flooded with pain, visceral emptiness hard to portray, deafening noises conquer my brain. Follow the retreating laughter, it is replaced by jeers and self-inflicted violence. Man's natural state is war, himself his biggest enemy. He can look inside for more, only to find his own personal Nazi. Dreaded communication and arduous feat, I can no longer comprehend my normality. An hour it takes me to wash and brush my teeth. My future I see only suicidality. Follow me to my hell. It is not far away. Let me take you there. One mustn't go down without a fight. Cling on to something beautiful. Shun the darkness, embrace the light. Resistance is compulsory, it's only dutiful. Nature saved me from complete collapse. Splendid creatures inspired a life, not death choice. Searching for colour, beauty, innocence, a butterfly perhaps. I chose one to aid me in my salvation and gave it a voice. Follow me, said the butterfly. My wings will lead you down the pathway to summer. Thank you. I'll go one more upbeat one after a couple of downbeat ones. This is about one of my cats, and it's about my wife. Before we met, she had these two cats. So when our relationship formed and I moved in, and then since we've got married, they're kind of like my stepchildren. And one cat just has this look, just has this snooty look and just doesn't seem to be able to accept me. So this is called Our Cat Thinks She's Better Than Me. Our cat thinks she's better than me. I can see it in her eyes and hear it in her meows. Sometimes I like to bark at her, just so she knows that she can't have it all her own way. You see, the problem is that my wife has had this cat for years, long before she met me. I've tried many times to win the cat's affection, but to no avail. This particular cat has always had a massive ego, though it's gotten worse of late, ever since a Premier League footballer retweeted one of her tweets. I've told the little furball straight, I won't be putting up with you treating me disrespectfully anymore. I put my cards on the table. Listen here, I said. If it came to the crunch and she had to choose between us, your human would pick me over you. I've just got more to offer in various different departments. So it's in your best interests for us to get along. You've a sweet deal here. Free food, free rent, and Muggins here cleaning out your litter tray twice a week. You should at least put your paw in your pocket, you furry little freeloader. Meow, says she. Meow your ma, says I. At 4 o'clock in the morning recently, she and I had somewhat of a showdown in the kitchen. It started when out of nowhere she let out a coarse, elongated meow. Stung by the criticism, I hit back with one or two barks and it escalated from there. My wife woke up and ventured down the stairs to investigate. What's going on with all these barks and meows? I can't sleep with this racket. That fucking cat is looking down her nose at me again. Exasperated, my wife tried to reassure me. She's just a cat, my love. She's not doing anything to you. She thinks she's better than me. She doesn't think she's better than you at all. You've got to get over this inferiority complex. I told you before, it's just the way her facial features have developed since she's grown old that makes it look like she is being slightly snooty. But she is not. She's just an innocent little cat. Now come back to bed. I accepted my wife's words. I haven't been sleeping lately, so maybe I was overanalyzing things. I shake my head and follow my wife up the stairs. Just as I reach the top, I hear meow from the bottom. You're not my real dad, taunts the furry little freeloading fucker. Thank you very much.
And Catherine O'Donoghue, who's next?
Oh my god, how to follow that? I can't. I was picking poems to read and I realised that most of them have trees in them, but that was coincidental. Not the first one though. This is called Maps of the Heart. Imprinted on heart, riverbeds run dry. In the baking heat, scorched reeds and arteries. And at another sandpit sinking, our feet are waterlogged. The clink and clang of old impostors, coupled with the whisper of a fading radio transmission. The crackle and hiss of a shorting fuse, bare and cavernous, this red flesh moon. This is called Wood. Your head's a wood these days, damp, mossy, hard to navigate. Briars poke out from behind your ears. Your eyebrows, thick as sticks, point upward toward a heavy sky. Birds nest in your brittle hair, breaking bits off, restructuring. The paths from the corners of your mouth to the dimples in your cheeks are well worn and well loved. This is called, thank you, this is called Whiskey and Coke. Scrubbing us clean away, As if the stain never, as if we never, under a marmalade or a pink sky, full of hush and drinks yet to be drunk, and birthdays yet to be celebrated. Under rain clouds tense with pour, but not yet pouring, hearts strained, not yet overstretched. Our minds are young and juicy to their cerebral core, sodden with information consumed too quickly, washed down with whiskey and coke. This is a poem for a friend of mine who passed away a good number of years ago, called Grania, and it's called Our War. Our war is over now. It ended long ago. The blood has dried and since been washed away by new rains, which know not the cause, nor care the outcome either. Our blood was shed heavy, amber oozing down as sap to earth, the salt and sweet of life trickling down young legs, not yet rooted to their spot. We bled for each other, leaving our bodies separated, bruised, halved like tree stumps split with an axe, sharpened for that purpose. And still, I know, when the night came, the birds cried out for us, shrieking then dulling to song in their incessant grief. And when in the morning they migrated south, they took their song, and we melted down to earth again, feeding her with what was left of our fleshy hearts. We were talking earlier about depressing poems, yeah. So this is the last one. This is a happy one. Yeah, no, it is. It's called... It is happy. It's called Joy, anyway. Joy. The seeds you scattered still grow, reach out over the garden walls of strangers, taking me by surprise. The pink of a rose stops me in my tracks. I lean in to drink the delicate joy of it. It's as if you were there, cheek blushed in front of me. For a split second, we kiss. That's it. Thank you.
And next is Dario.
It's okay with Dario.
Oh, cool, yeah. I was going to attempt it.
Yeah, thank you. So, this is first poem is called The Ambition of the Poet.
What's your second name?
Cannizzaro. Yeah, it's a complicated one. Since I had the clothes of a new man, I used to write my name in sand. Waves would steal it and bring it to the bottom of the sea. Or on my father's car, cleaning it out of the windshield dust. With the rhythm of my tub-thumping heart and the arrogance of age, I would carve it in a bathroom, where my friends would go to smoke and see. Short of a diamond, I carved it anywhere, on the ancient skin of trees or eternal stones. But as my clothes have holes now, and look like rags, I don't long for history anymore. 1,000 years from now, what good would it be to me? When my clothes will be dust, mixed with my ashes, nothing will keep my name like my lover's heart. And that's a poem for that of my father. I removed the bars that kept that rock body of yours, yellow of death, sleep-bound to eternity. All around, faces rained. I had to push your final vessel outside, a humble procession of death, the two of us. Had the world kindness to spare for you. Living or resting, they left your neck bent, and I had to use white clothes to keep it straight. I raged not your passing. You were free now, or non-existent. You freed ourselves from evil, yet. There is no day I don't miss your hands, your smell, your hair. And while I kept your hands in life and demise, until your body could feel just a box, I didn't hate death, although the final end is a scar in me, but spat on mankind all, oblivion to love. Thank you. Depressing poems, right? So, thank you. And then I have a short story now. It's very short, but I think it's a nice one. And it's based on a memory when I was younger, when I was 15. And it was 1997. I started writing poetry, reading strange authors, and listening to grunge music. My high school was in a city near Napoli, which is called Pozzuoli. The school was spread over 2 buildings. Both of them were not built to host a school. One was an ex-fire station, and the other one was a residential building, modified to be a school. There were no emergency exits, there were cement columns in the middle of the classrooms, and there were balconies like in normal houses. And the classroom where I was passing the year was plastered with tiles, covering one entire wall, last enduring memory of a kitchen of times past. I would go out to the balcony of the class to smoke a cigarette during breaks, while professors were going from one class to the other. The balcony opened on the backyard of the building on an ancient Roman temple. The temple was as tall as a 3-story building and still incredibly well preserved, even though half-masked by the green of the vegetation that was eating it. I would light up a cigarette and look at the temple, think of the people that passed by there, thinking that in any other country that temple would have visitors, would be guarded, walled, and respected. I would inhale the violet smoke, and as the cigarette reached the end, I would throw it on the ground near the temple anyway, in a burning arch, because that behavior was normal for me and the people around me at that particular point in life. During gym class, we would go and play football exactly where the temple was, using the fallen down opening as one of the goals. We would sweat in the warm southern European climate and come back to our class stinking of burnt skin, blood, grass and sweat, because there were no showers. And after school, we would go out in the little park that once was in front of the building. We would stop by the Salumeria and buy prosciutto and cheese panini while waiting for the school bus. But the school bus was just a white van, stripped of the normal seats, and with 3 long benches, so to stuff more kids in. The days in school were boring. The notions we were studying felt stale, so I was sitting in the back of the class, hiding my poets, Ungaretti, Yeats, Thomas, in whatever book we were supposed to have in front of us. I would read Hume and Locke while the professor was reading Parmenides from the book. The system was old for me and smelled like death. That year, I would often skip class. Some days I would join other people from other classes who skipped as well. If it were summertime, we would go to the beach. And you could go to the beach from March till October, for how good the weather was. We would take off our clothes, leave them under our school bags, and swim just in our underwear. The sun would dry ourselves up in a short while. We would eat slices of pizza and then come back home, and our moms would ask, "Why are you so tanned?" "Well, I'm sitting near the window, Mom." So possibly, if all the moms saw all the kids together, they would have imagined a classroom which was made only by windows, almost a science experiment with kids' insects running inside of it, hiding from the flesh-devouring sun. During winter time, we would go to the city, Napoli. We would play bowling or video games. We would visit the first fast foods, McDonald's, Burger Kings, and such were a novelty back then for me. Trying to hook up with teenage girls, trying to understand romance for the first time in our lives. But my favorite times were when it was only me, or me and my close friends. We would go in the city center of Pozzuoli and hide into a dark alley. In the alley there was a tattoo joint, an earring head shop, and a very small library called Il Nome della Rosa, the name of the rose, after Umberto Eco's book. The owner, Gino, would entertain his guests with delicious comments about books, poetry, literature. It wasn't long before we started spending all of our mornings there, talking with Gino and drinking espresso, while watching the whirlwind of customers. Lost souls on the lookout for human connection. Writers, poets, mothers, sons. Fishermen, shop owners, unemployed hippies. The whole humanity passed in that library, 20 to 30 square meters of enlightened soil, much like the sacred ground of a secret church. We would pass our time speculating about the weight of the soul, the meaning of life, the search for happiness, the pursuit of love. It was a full-on philosophy school. I would come back to the regular school in my kitchen tile classroom with my cigarettes, my Roman temple, and I would recite poems from Catullus, which I discussed the day earlier in the library. I would introduce the bundle theory to the classroom before our philosophy professor would explain it, just because it was in one of the books we discussed in the library. I didn't pass the year, for other reasons than my grades, and one being that you needed to actually be in the classroom to pass the year. And I wasn't there. I was too busy understanding life. I didn't pass school year, but I did pass a great life year. The library eventually vanished. You cannot have a place such this one for that long, because it defies logic. It is a safe haven that sticks out like a sore thumb, a final monument against misery and materialism. It was a gift to live that time, to live while Il Nome della Rosa lived, in the sun-bathed little coastal town, discussing about life, the universe, and everything. And I cherish the time I had. And while I understand the precious moments that I've lived, I look around, and I search for the bliss that I'm living in the now, the gift from this time, which I don't know yet, but I'll cherish in 20 years. Thank you.
One second. Richard Gibney?
Not last one.
Do you know where she's gone?
She's got probably to get someone to say.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Right, can I just try and fix this?
Yeah, go for it, yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm recording anyway, like, so.
Got our sights more, so here we go.
Nothing.
Your dance?
No.
Your dance.
Can I burn incense?
Can you what?
Burn incense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to hold that for a while, Kevin?
No, you're okay.
You sure?
You want to lay incense for me?
Yeah, I don't mind. Are we live?
No.
Yeah. Go on. Palo Santo. It's from Israel.
Right, yeah. I'm sure you know all know this little
This
trick
is
that
Richard Gibney.
Hi, I'm Richard. You know that little trick that the granddads do with the thumb and the finger, and they pretend to.
That was a trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've just wrote a little poem about that, and it's a sonnet based on My Mistress' Eyes Are Nothing Like the Sun. You know that sonnet by Shakespeare? Anyway. And it starts off, your index finger's nothing like your thumb. When you perform your trick, it causes dread, confusion reigns before your jape is done. A thumb too big, along your hand is led. The kids stare up, awed, and smile their delight. They fail to understand a trick's in play, and really have no interest in your sleight. There is no better magic on the way. And yet, there are some sweets in kitchen jars. The children's glee stems from your wife's good treats. Like Pavlov's dog, they're in the sugar horrors. With that same hound whose bell results in meats. They know that if they smile and laugh so far, they will receive a treasure from that jar. This is a sketch I sent to Channel 4, and it's a parody of a show like Unsolved Mysteries or documentaries featuring unexplained phenomena, right? So I sent this in, and they phoned me to let me know that I'd reached their shortlist and to send on other stuff. Right?
Really?
But then I never heard from them again, and I think they were just phoning me to make sure I was okay, you know what I mean? So this is actually, I'll do all the different voices for this, okay? So it's hosted by a guy called Nimrock Lililu, okay? And he introduces two twins who are joined at the cheek, called William and Henry. So I want you to imagine all the parts. So a set of twins, William and Henry, are conjoined at the cheek. So William says, sometimes we even finish each other's. And Henry says, breakfast. The conjoined nature of the twins is unusual enough, but what's even more unusual are the boys' hobbies. William, what is it you do? Well, I love to drive out to the airport, and I drive out to the end of the runway, and I like to wait for the planes to try and come in and land. And when the planes try and come in and land, I like to drive under the planes, and I honk my horn, and I make sure that the planes don't land. And Henry, what is your hobby? Well, sometimes William drives out to the airport, and he goes to the end of the runway, and he drives under the planes when they try to land. I like to sit in the passenger seat and watch William do that. Which of you is the better driver? William is. William is. Why is that, Henry? I don't know. I mean, I'm a very good driver, but William's just a better driver than me. And then it cuts to home video footage. Okay? And the voiceover says, but as this secret footage shows, Henry is in fact a terrible driver. So William is outside the car, and he's got his leg in the back window, and he's holding onto the car like this. And the car is jerking along, and you can hear William shouting, engage the clutch! Put your foot on the clutch! So then it cuts back to the studio, and the two twins are laughing at something, and there's tinkly piano music in the background, and the voiceover says, why are these twins trying to keep Henry's bad driving a secret? How are they not in prison for violating federal aviation laws? It's all rather unusual.
What's that?
Can I do one more?
Go wild, eh?
Is anyone feeling okay? This is someone. This is a woman who's looking for dating advice. Okay, so she writes to the advice column. Hi, my name Madi Al-Huzak. I'm needing of dating advice. I'm liking with guy named Ahmed who does not enjoy lumber. He won't marry and is pleasant and accurate, but badly on my side, my father is the most successful sales representative in the e-commerce department of a nationally renowned furniture retailer. Because of why, I am part-time maker of tables. As an education, I go for a good technical school in carpentry. I make the coffee tables on my father's sal. Small, cheap, big, more money, no care. The guy my liking, Ahmed, is good, correct man, but he bad with hands. He no enjoying work wood. He say no money on work wood and sanding and polishing and not good for women. He laugh at me with mocking. Since I don't joke with my furniture, it make me angry and serious to put many more interest on varnishing and other furniture actions, and I don't listen him. We fight. He say think better than work with hands. He point at head and say it most important thing. He say hard work for fools who know think. Then he show he smarter by say he know history and politics. He say me put on veil even when work. It hard work to work in veil and very hot, so I take off. When he come back in workshop and see me no veil, then he blast me with fists. But he's so bad with hands, he blast me very, very wrong. So wrong that he mistake. And I hammer him with table leg many times, and he fall and I win fight. Now he even worse with hands. He spit lots now and talk slow, and I wipe mouth for him. He like to come to house in morning and sit in big wooden wheelchair all day in garden from sunrise with full-size smile. But morning damp hurt wheelchair, and he already on wheelchair number 3. I add varnish, but still big problem. I never make outside furniture before. Please, please, please to say, how to stop dry rot on wheelchair. Maddie.
Brilliant. Is that everything, yeah? Seamus, are you ready to go, or?
I can be in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Natasha! How are you?
Dinner's ready.
Natasha got lost in Merlin Woods.
Hi everyone, I'm Natasha. Thanks very much to Kevin for inviting me to come down here. So I'm going to do a couple of poems here today. The first one I'm going to do for you is called The Woodcutter. Softly tread, your soundless exit. Rouse me not, but leave candles burning, that when I wake, I might see the light. Thank you. This next one that I'm going to do is called The Ballad of Christopher Robin. So this is about a good friend of mine some years ago who used to like to kind of retreat into his own little private fantasy world when reality got a bit too much for him, and therefore he ended up missing out on all the best parts of real life. So this is The Ballad of Christopher Robin. Whatever happened to Christopher Robin, alumnus of the Animal Farm, straining to spring his make-believe friends, jailed in the dungeons of his mind palace? Kamikaze Christopher, sucking on cinders, clutching tight-fist triggers to his mental Armageddon. Life is what happens in the jacks at intermission. There is no hereafter, no correction at the end of the test. No Christopher. There is nothing here for you anymore. Run, rabbit, run from outbound flames, annihilating all before them, but you can't dodge your boomerang bullets on the way back around to you. Christopher here stalls your story on the bridge below the town, where you learn to hide what you can't kill, a fetus cradled in the riverbed. Inert, not stillbirthed, but sleeping. This next one is called Drizzle. There was a reason I called, but now I forget. A reason or an excuse to escape the estate of minds into the empty space for life left to be lived. The savage air horn of a passing truck, a war cry from a distant star protesting there is no salvation in the last glass of ginger ale, no more than the soggy promise of redemption in vodka tears. I've returned, back from the dead, boasting the spoils of vermilion taillights vanishing into the fog. Rainbow-spattered oil puddle mirrors all but its reflection left behind. I cannot make head nor tail of it. This next one I'm going to do for you is called Red Rover. This is a force you cannot contain to drain my cranial capacitor. Busy work for idle minds or an open book snapped shut before they get more than a tantalizing glance into a mind frame they cannot even grasp. How can you burn out the lights of the outcast, too strong to beat a weaker sex whom the boys accept while girls play possum? You could be pretty if you just wore pink, not red and black, not black and blue with your eyes busted out of your skull. I can rest easy knowing my hindrances are virtues. Just go ahead and do it. There's only 2 more.
So it's going now if you wanna. Yeah. Okay.
Long have I been the wanderer. I hang in equilibrium between hotel rooms and double-deckers on the road to nowhere. The load I bear, to hate what I do, to do what I love, and from time to time, my knees buckle, my feet stall and stumble, and I need the weight of your hand on mine. When the small hours rouse me from my dreams, I feel your arms fold round my shoulders, and I am safe. I buried my head in my chemical breakdown, but you held me, swore to me. The scars you embraced will be the making of me yet. Amid the crash of the waves and the sea's brutal roar, we sketch out our story map of the city, marking the ruins of memories from decades long past, trawling the wreckage for still frames we could call our own. Here we are safe, we are wild, we are free. Long shall we be the wanderers. You and I, we make our own luck. And the last one that I'm going to do is called The Way Back. We all have a price, but mine isn't a shiny rock. A winding prism of white lies, chipped edges lacerating my dreams. All I have left. To give everything away, for bling weighs heavy as the promise. To give everything away, to be reduced to a quantity unknown, to be appeased by a vow without merit, a means to an end, to a greater good. Love ever lost, dropped in the black forest for children to find and make believe, and if I wish hard enough, I'll be worthy of their folklore. Wheels within wheels, broken. The world began with you. Now, it ends with me. Thanks very much, everybody.
What's your second name again?
Sorry?
Seamus
Murtagh.
Cool. Sorry, Murtagh. I'll chew for this shit, yeah.
Yeah.
That's recording today.
It's all good, it can be all edited there.
Okay. And Seamus Murtagh? Murtagh.
Silent GH.
Sorry.
Okay, so thanks. It's nice to be here. Thanks to Kevin and everyone else as well. So yeah, a few of my poems. A few of them are from a while ago. But we'll go with it now. This is called Heart of Soul. The heart of soul is pure and true. It knows no misconception of love and life, of place and time, because the heart is free of mind, of his and hers, and yours and mine. Its purpose is to know the sign of sacred geometrical design that shines from deep within creation, has no beginning, no limitation. God is life, and life is all, and all is one. When all is done, when all shall fall and know the sun, when suns shall crack and split and pour, when darkness envelops the space once more, allowing peace and harmony to reign upon the soul of man again, then and only then shall be the truth which only heart can see, that he is she, as you are me, and we are one, and all is free. So you will notice some of the poems have I like to rhyme. This next one is called World of Amaze. So what I like to do is kind of take even simple rhyming schemes as well and throw in something new into the mix. So World of Amaze. There once was a world of amaze, where wonder would swallow the days. Consumed by desire, their passions grew higher, and bent for the circle that pays. Beginnings were brighter for most of them. Losses, sure who'd pay the cost of them? Reality strikes through the gains and the hikes. We be the who be the boss of them. Life, my friend, is what you make of it. Got to return if you take a bit. Cycles are fluent, we must be congruent with nature instead of forsaking it. All will not be as it once was. Everything is just a once off. Be here now, we are now. See and know, we are one. We can achieve what we want to. Even surviving on less, so others may have a bit more. Others won't have an address if we don't grab the bull by the horns. Sharing is having and caring is healing. There is always hope for the future. I'll do one more for you. I'm not sure what this is called. I don't have it. The world needs to open its eyes. Some live, but not alive, while others act fine, while they struggle and strive. But while we smother the child within original sin, the human race so confused, everybody's trying to win. But while we're competing, we're defeating the purpose. Live life and love. So why are brothers trying to hurt us? Soldiers given the orders to march across the borders. Everybody looks the same. Now the killing's out of order. Public mayhem ensues, so now they say on the news that the people being shot are dying for you. But they're denying the truth. Now mothers crying for youths, not realizing that they're trained to kill and dying to shoot. Dying to shoot. Dying to shoot. Till they get shot themselves, now they're seeing their errors. Who once fought for their country, now they're fleeing the terrors. Looking in mirrors, seeing savages kill, while they ravage and spill blood at president's will. And the residents still, looking on in amazement, want to recall their children when the fight for peace trails went, and hope they might see their birthdays, which will now be the worst days for the families who sent them to fight in the first place. Thank you.
Keep recording, yeah? Going to Awaken Your Soul in Merlin Park Woods. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
You all want to get up? Wait, we're not recording. Recording now.
That was my best bow.
Okay, up next, Dario. Richard. Natasha. Catherine.
This is scarier than reading.
Polly. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for. Oh, and you. Sorry, Seamus.
Thank you. Okay, up there yourself.
Okay.
Hey! Excellent.
That was fantastic.